Cái ổ động đẹp quá chị.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Valerie, for introducing me. We will begin with the Republican candidates in the Congressional District 7. The Republican candidates from the Congressional District 7 are Mr. Ray Bly and Mr. Corrogan Vaughn. Each candidate will have 30 seconds to give their opening remarks. Our timekeeper will let you know when your 30 seconds is up. We will begin with Mr. Bly.
My name is Raymond Bly. I've been fighting this county for 41 years now to stay in my only home I've been able to call my home on Route 1. They've been trying to drive me out. They convicted me of a crime. I'm a convicted child abuser against a 22-year-old illegal alien, and I can prove that. They took my wife away due to this felony.
Excuse me one second, Mr. Bly. Could you turn on your mic for us, please?
So I got to start over again.
It's up to you, sir, if you'd like.
What was it recorded? Oh, okay. They threw me in a mental institution, took my wife away October 1st. Because I told them over my dead body they were going to take my wife for 46 years away because of a 25-year-old felony conviction. I'm diagnosed with every mental illness now, thanks to the county. They seized my home, my bank accounts, my property. Because I'm a felon, I'm not allowed to be around my wife, even though they brought her back home 2 weeks after I got out of the mental institution. As a felon, I couldn't take care of her, but as a mentally ill felon, I can take care of my dying wife of cancer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bly. Mr. Vaughn?
Good morning, or good afternoon. My name is Corrogan Vaughn, and I'm running for the congressional seat in District 7. I want to put people and principles over party and politics. I want to grow our community and not our government. For the last 18 years...
Excuse me, Mr. Vaughn, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Could you turn on your mic, please? I want to make sure we hear what you all have to say. Thank you.
Good morning and good afternoon. My name is Corrogan Vaughn, and with your help, I'll be your next congressman for Congressional District 7. I want to put people and principles against parties and politics. We got to grow our communities, folks, and not our government. For the last 18 years, we've had someone who has put the fear of God in us because he gives us catchphrases about voter fraud. If you need an ID to drive a car, you need an ID to vote. I believe that we need to put people and principles over party and politics.
Thank you. We will now begin the question session. If you would like to respond, please hold your card up so that I can call on you in the order in which I see them. You will have 1 minute and 30 seconds for each response. A timekeeper will let you know when you have 30 seconds remaining and when your time is up. The first question: what is your position on background checks before gun purchases at gun shows and online? Mr. Vaughn?
I am in full support of background checks. However, I think that what we need to do is enforce the laws that are already on the books. I am a hunter, and I understand that guns don't kill people, people kill people. If we look at it in a philosophical way, we are our own keeper, and at the end of the day, a gun is like a knife. It can kill you, but it's the person that puts themselves in the position to initiate the crime that you need to look at. So I think we need to enforce the laws that are on the books. Also, once again, I am in full support of what you asked me.
Mr. Bly.
I am totally against all the gun laws we keep passing. I think anybody, like back in the 50s, should be able to walk in and buy a gun, period. The law should be for the felon that will always have guns. If they use a gun in a commission of a felony, they get an extra 10 years on their sentence, not plea bargained out, period. Only laws to stop, to penalize the people using guns illegally. The government should not know anything about our laws, about innocent people owning guns. Look at D.C. Oh, we want you all to register your guns. We'll never take them away. 10 years later, what did they do? They took everybody's guns away. We should get the laws away from the innocent people and only enact laws against guns for the criminals that use them illegally. Thank you.
Thank you. Question number 2. Would you support a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United?
Anh xuống nhìn ông cầm kỹ kìa.
Mr. Vaughn?
TV.
No, I would not. Citizens United went through the judiciary. So in actuality, if the judiciary has already ruled on it, I don't see that where a constitutional amendment would make it any different. Once again, folks, unfortunately, we've been dummied down in our society. We have the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judiciary branch. And they're supposed to act in tandem. Unfortunately, people talk about the rule right now, but we've been in 50 years of democratic rule in this country. This country is not a democracy, it's a republic, which means that we put people in office so that they can do the will of the people. Unfortunately, in our district, it hasn't happened.
On this issue, just like I fought with my uncle, which was second in the FBI, that went after the Communist Party and put a lot of people in jail illegally to break up the Communist Party after World War II and in the 50s. He felt sorry about it. In a democratic society, we have to let all these organizations exist and all their voices be heard, even though you disagree with them. I don't like the ACLU. Should we ban that? No. Until we get all the voices heard, we can't decide which one's right. So to have a congressional thing against Citizens United is against what I would stand for.
Thank you, gentlemen. Third question. Do you believe in a path to citizenship for people who arrive in the U.S. illegally?
My wife,
You need to raise your card for me. Okay. Oh, Mr. Bly.
my wife came here as an immigrant from Vietnam in '71. It took 15 years to do paperwork to get her brother here, which now I wish I wouldn't have brought him, but to have people come across the border illegally, falsify Social Security cards and all kind of immigration papers. Do you remember back when Bush's daughter was arrested for having a phony driver's license in a bar in Georgetown? That was only a phony driver's license. How many felonies do these people commit? They have to go home, and then we have to triple the immigration that they can come back. But they broke the law, send them home first, and then let them apply. And we check them out to make sure they're not drug dealers or rapists or anything else, and then let them back in at triple the quota that we have now. Thank you.
Would you repeat the question again?
Yes. Do you believe in a path to citizenship for people who arrive in the U.S. illegally? Mr. Vaughn?
My answer is this. Every time I go to New York, I look at the Statue of Liberty and I look at Ellis Island, where for the longest time since the beginning of our nation, it gave a set standard in terms of a pathway to citizenship. Now let's be real. I hate the statement illegal immigrants, the illegal aliens. Our children have been demonized. They've been put at the back of the bus. Legislation has been passed where illegal aliens' children in this state and others can get tuition-free benefits, and that's totally wrong. I believe that if you want to come to this nation, you need to come the right way. I remember in the last election, we had a bunch of kids that were brought here, and two congresspeople who actually represent this community gave them a pathway through BWI Airport to go down into the Highlandtown area. They talked about it was the humane thing to do. But my question is, when are we going to start doing the humane thing for our children who are also citizens and deserve a better quality of life?
Question number 4. What is the appropriate role of the federal government in public education? Mr. Bly?
That's one of the terrorist groups I name on one of my videos on YouTube. It interferes with everybody's decision in the local community of how they want their kids taught. We should take it away from the federal government, close the Federal Board of Education, and let the communities decide of how our schools are run. Thank you.
Ms. Vaughn?
Well, here's where I believe. I'm a states' right person. I believe that every local community, every state should have a right to decide on public education. I am a product of Baltimore Public City Schools. I'm currently also studying at Liberty University. But what bothers me is that we use the Department of Education to give perks and benefits that never trickle down to our children. Once again, I think the role of the federal government should be limited. Education in the local jurisdictions and in the states should be the responsibility of the states, and the government, federal government, including the Congress, the lower house and the Senate, should have a very limited role, because at the end of the day, I believe in homeschooling, charter schools, and whatever the parents see fit in terms of deciding what quality education is for their children. Thank you.
And our final question for you gentlemen. How should cybersecurity be strengthened to protect federal data and facilities?
Ask Apple to encrypt the federal government. That would stop anybody from getting in it, because the federal government can't even get into the Apple phone. We need to have we do have a whole FBI unit now on that, but we have to hire the best technicians, the best technical people, because cybercrime has gone way up. Even Maryland is cheated out of millions of dollars of tax refunds by illegal filing by computer. We have to stop this cybercrime, and we have to get the people off the internet that does it and prosecute them. And that's mainly from foreign entities.
Hello?
So we have to, that's national defense. Thank you.
Hello?
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, ma'am. This might sound radical in what I'm about to say, but I think we should abolish the IRS, use those agents to work on our cyber crimes going on in our both nationally and locally. And the reason why I talk about the IRS abolishing them and moving that unit into cyber terrorism is because, for the most part, if you are a citizen in this great nation, you're always taxed by the IRS on something. They can audit you on things, and when they find nothing, they never come back to apologize. We need, in all honesty, we need to use that type of vehicle to build up our, where it comes to our cyber security. Because at the end of the day, in the 21st century, cybersecurity is just as important as boots on the ground.
Thank you, gentlemen. The Republican candidates in the Congressional District 7 will now have 30 seconds for their closing statements. The timekeeper will let you know when your time is up. We will begin with Mr. Vaughn.
Thank you, League of Women Voters. I appreciate and applaud your efforts for your service in giving us this time and opportunity. I ask you that you would go to 3 different websites: Vaughn, 4 Congress.com, Vaughn, 4 America.com, and Corrogan Vaughn. We want to put people and principles over party and politics. We need someone in this seat that will not just look at you because you happen to give them a contribution, but they give you service and not being a celebrity.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. Mr. Bly?
I need your vote. I need to win. I gave you out business cards saying I'm a convicted child abuser. Well, my oldest daughter's an aerospace engineer working for Lockheed Martin. My son's an electrical engineer with a master's in telecommunications working for the Defense Department. And my youngest daughter is computer science and an IT degree working for Social Security Woodlawn in the IT department. So I guess I've used them pretty good, being a convicted child abuser. Vote for me. I got to keep fighting and stop the county from taking my house away. Thank you.
Thank you. We would like to thank all the Republican candidates in Congressional District 7 for participating. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.